Okay, so first of all, I wish that everything is okay. As you know, I need to record our class that belongs to this week. So we're gonna start working using present perfect, but now using the keywords that are already, yet, and just. And it is important to point out the difference between using them and also remind us what's the function of present perfect. So first of all, as we know, present perfect is just to express something that starts in the past, but we don't know exactly if the action has finished or not. In present perfect, we can express an experience that we have lived, and maybe this experience can be repeated nowadays. We have these kind of expressions to help me to express something specifically. In present perfect, we use have or has and the verb in past participle, right? So how can we attach already, yet, and just? And what do they mean? Over here, we have that already means that the action has been done, and we have in this case yet that we have something that we want to do, but at this moment the action didn't happen. And we have the word just, sorry, to express something that has recently happened, right? Over here we have different examples, and that let's see how do they work. And the number one, it says, I have already cleaned my room. That means that I did that action from this moment, right? She has already sent the email. That means that the action has been done and we are okay. We don't specify exactly when, but we know that the action has happened. Over here it says, I haven't cleaned my room yet. She hasn't sent the email yet. Or the question form, have you finished your work yet? Over here we have the word yet that expressed that we are talking about an action that we didn't finish at this moment, but maybe it will happen later. And finally we have, I have just cleaned my room and she has just sent the mail. That means that the action has recently happened. As example, 3 minutes ago, 1 minute ago, something that recently happened, right? How can we place the word just? We use just to express an action that has happened very recently, and we are going to use it after the auxiliary have and has and before the past participle. We already talked about it in class, right? We have over here have or has, we have just, and then we have the verb in past participle. As example, it says that Maria has just finished her homework. That means that she has recently finished the homework. They have just come from the supermarket. That means that they have recently come as 3 minutes ago or something like that. We don't specify the time, but we know that it's something recently. And it has just started raining. That means that the action happened some minutes ago. Then we have the word already. Already, it's kind of flexible because we can use it at the end of my sentence, and also we can place it after the verb or auxiliary have or has and before the verb in past participle. We use already to express an action that has finished before the action that we expected to finish. That means that I finished my activity. It's not recently, but it's before as I consider, right? If, for example, I planned to travel in 2 months, but it happened before, I can use already because we did the action before as I expected, but it's not recently. As example, over here it says, I have already done my homework, or I have done my homework already. So already it's kind of flexible to place it, right? George has already watched Transformers the movie, or they have already read the book, or they have read the book already, right? I can place it between the structure have and past participle, or at the end of my sentence. It means the same stuff. And finally, we have yet. Yet is used to express negative sentences and also to ask question, right? So question, something that you have to expect that it happened before. As example, have you eaten at Fridays yet? You expect that the other person has already been to Friday, but you are not sure that that happened. I haven't been to Europe yet. That means from that moment you didn't do that travel, but maybe it will happen in a month, maybe the next year, but it will happen. You expect that that action happen. Has Matilda been to New York yet, or have you studied for the test yet? Juan hasn't proposed to Jenny yet, right? So we are going to place yet at the end of my sentence, just in negative sentence and also in question form. Over here we have some examples of present perfect using just and arrive, and it said that he has just arrived. Over here we have just and paint, and it says I have just paint. Over here we have yet, so we are going to place it at the end of my sentence in a negative sentence. They haven't come yet. Over here we have finish. We have the expression yet, and as we know, we use it just in question and negative sentence. So it says I haven't finished yet. And over here we have already and enter, and it says they have already entered, or already can be at the end of my phrase, and it works in the same form, right? And also in present perfect we can use for and since. And how do they work? We use the present perfect to talk about something that began on the past and it continues on the present time, but we don't know if it happened also in a future tense, right? Over here it says that Bill Gates has been CEO of Microsoft, since 1975. We know that the action started on the past, that the action continued, but we don't know exactly the future of that, right? So since can't help me to know when does the action start in a point of time, and for can help me to know how to the time of the period of time length, right? Over here we can say since 5 o'clock, since yesterday, since last summer, or for can help me to know the length of time, the period of time. I have been working for 10 minutes. I have been there for 2 days. That means that the action continues for a period of time. We have over here another slide that said that for help us to know the period, and since help me to know when does it start and if it continues or not. As example, it says I have had this watch for more than 40 years. That means that this action has a period of time of 40 years. And she has been smoking for a long time. We know exactly the period of time when she has been smoking, right? Over here it says I have had this watch since 1965. We know when the action starts, but we are not sure that the action has finished, right? And over here it says I have only known her since the beginning of last week. That means that we know exactly when the period starts, but we don't know exactly if the action has finished or not. Okay, we are going to continue practicing, so don't worry. We are going to see our doubts in class, and also we are going to work with our student book and workbook. Thank you.